Good afternoon, and welcome to the Simpler Futures evening market wrap up. And this is for the free video. This is Neil, by the way, too. So we're starting the last few days of the November, right? So this week is end of month, November, first of all. But even more specifically, the week really appears to kind of kick off and hinge and pivot on Wednesday forward, right? So the reason I say that is, there's some speakers here and there and some little bit of information today and tomorrow, but beginning Wednesday, we got Fed Chair Powell and some prelim GDP. Then you've got PCE price index on Thursday, and then non-farm payroll, average hourly earnings, etc. on Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the real focus, I think, anyway, for this week. Now, it doesn't appear in the options chain that there's really all that much to anticipate, plus or minus like 80 points. And, we move, we're down 60 today, right? So, all in all, we moved back a little bit today, but we got to talk about that specifically. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to come in and find a support tonight and trade back up and stay in this range. Okay, so let's talk about this range. So we know this is CPI day back here on the 10th, the big bid off the 37s that comes up into the mid 39s, right? We know about that. But look at since the 11th. This thing has been sideways, and I warned about this last week when I was like, look, we're trading basically in a chop zone of like 50 by 85, maybe 90, but 50 by like 85. And finally, it left there late last week, traded up into the 4,000s, and we gave it then the idea that it could continue easily. That would be the easy read, right? If it would just continue, but it had to hold, remember, 40-20. Well, all last week it did. All last week. It was fine. It was good. Until we gap open last night, Globex, it gaps open down at 40-20 and spent, well, really the whole night last night, and then the majority of the day today holding that as overhead and coming in trading a little lower, right? Well, look where it came back to. It came back to the same balance. 30.60 is the old weekly. Remember the weekly point of control back here at 39.60? It just came back to 60. So the 40-20s that was holding it up there, it did well last week until it didn't, which was Globex open, gap open lower, and it trades back and finds the same balance back here that was acceptance all throughout this bulk, this body of trade back here, starting the 11th through and really including today. So what does all this mean? It certainly does not, to me anyway, appear that the ride is over. It could be, because anything could happen, but it doesn't appear the ride. What's happened here is this move in the holiday, the holiday all the way through Thanksgiving Day was, holding up and was bid and was good. Till today, it rests, comes back, tests. The low print today was 60. It came back and tested that balance print at 60. And can easily, at this point, what can happen is, one, nothing until Wednesday. I mean, really. That's what I honestly would look for. If it comes in a little bit more tonight, it'll trade about, like 37, something like that, and bounce. There's nothing here. So come in a little bit, bounce, hold right in range until Wednesday, and then we get the beginning of what matters this week, which is Powell, Thursday PCE, Friday non-farm payroll. Now, I don't know which way it's going to go, of course, but I don't, until I get a reason to suspect that this ride is over, I'm going to stay with the trend, which is going to point me higher, and my target is going to be 41.20. 41.20. That presses. That's a little. I don't even know if it can get there, but that'll be the target. I mean, the reason I say I don't know about getting there is I think that looks like a good target. The problem is the expected move on this week on the SPX here. It does not support that much of a move. That's actually the problem. I mean, this supports the idea of, well, you can see it right there. That's like a nothing burger of a week is what that is. 75. We're moved 60 today, so I don't. Look, I'll start to change my mind back below this. I'll say below 3,900, and and anything like today. We talked about this in the trade room. Say, look, this will look like a selling opportunity. And it is during the day today on an intraday basis. It's a selling opportunity, sure. But overall, I don't want to miss the forest for staring at this one tree, and that is that I would anticipate that a pullback like this would come back for, and we had target. Today was bear target. The second bear target was 39.60, and if it trades back to 39.60, that would make sense because that's just to come back to visit balance. But also, what would make sense is to hold this general area right here and still be largely coiling for a move. Whenever that move comes, it ought to be pretty substantial. So I'm giving it in the event that maybe possibly, because anything could happen, if it does, continue to break, then we'll give it 39, 12 as target on the bear side. However, what I really anticipate is seeing it only come in very slightly, not much more at all, and actually hold and start to trade back up and challenge the tops up here on, in a perfect storm, which I don't think it'll be there by the time we're back together, but because the options chain just does not allow for this much range and volatility this week. But I'd have in mind that, we could be looking upwards and have in mind at least, a target. It looks like the 200-day moving average first, right? We got to keep that in mind. That's like 40.80, call it 40.80 something like 2 or something, 40.80 something. And then in this 41.20. That's what I got. That's it. We could look at it on this volume basis and remind ourselves that as this is where it left right, look at that point of control right there, 60, 39.60. It left there, traded up for a few days on what is normal, just a little bit of holiday kind of euphoria. That's very normal, right? It got a little evidently extended by trading as far as it did, because as soon as the holiday's over, it gaps open lower last night and then trades a little bit lower today, but only back to right there. The low print today was that weekly bounce back there at 60. So it's not. It's just all it is a right now anyway. All it is a retracement back to what was acceptance previously, and with that and for that reason, I would anticipate that it holds. So that's it. That's what I got. Good trade. Nice evening. Enjoyed it. Thank you for being here and listening, and hopefully this helps in some way. And we'll come back and have another look at it on Wednesday. And by the way, I don't think anything between now and Wednesday actually really matters. Wednesday is when this week really kicks off. And that is with Powell, then, like I say, PCE Thursday, which does matter. That's one of the Fed's kind of, preferred gauges. And then the employment report situation on Friday. So till then, good trade, enjoyed it, and I'll be back.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me